Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing a deck profile on my Great Nature deck. So this is another budget deck. It's pretty easy to build. There's probably only a few cards in here that are kind of hard to find now, one being Cable Sheep. But other than that, this deck is pretty much dirt cheap. It's easy to build, and it's surprisingly good. Great Nature is one of those sleeper hit clans who people really don't... People underestimate in casual play. They don't think much of them when they're playing against them until they get into a situation where they realize they're about to lose. So anyway, we'll start off with the Vanguards. So the main grade 3 is, there's two of them. Armored Instructor Bison. I like him because he's literally like a Nova Grappler style thing. But although Great Nature did have the ability to restand rear guards in G era, so Bison's back from way back. He's really cool. He used to unflip too. I remember that. But now when he attacks, counterblast 1 and stand one of your, and give one of your rear guards 5k power, and if he's the Vanguard, you get to stand that unit or that rear guard. So really good. And as I mentioned, he's dirt cheap. It's so easy to get this card. Next we're running 4 Daring Scientists. So this is the card that actually accompanies the current Great Nature build that's out there, the one that's all based off of, like, you mill the top of your deck, and then if it's a normal unit, your opponent can't intercept. If it's a trigger unit, you retire all the rear guards in the same column as this unit. So this is cool because it has Vanguard or rear guard effect. Now, if it's a Vanguard effect, then you're basically going to either blow up their rear guard behind their Vanguard, so the Vanguard booster will die, or they can't intercept. And so the nice thing about that is, like, if it's a Vanguard, either way, you're going to either kill something or they can't intercept you that turn. And then if it's a trigger unit, and if it's a rear guard, so you will either blow up two cards in that column. So usually you call it down where there's like 2 units across from you, and then you just blow up the column if you get the trigger, or they just straight up can't intercept either. So there isn't really anything bad about this card. I guess the only thing bad about it is that that effect only works when it's placed. It's not like a main phase activate once per turn type of skill, which does kind of hurt it, but at the same time, that's why it's so dirt cheap. So downside, probably, if I had to say one, this is an Accel clan, so you can't really call this, you don't really want to call this onto an Accel circle, like an additional R, because you're not really going to get much benefit from it unless you're up against an Accel guy, and then your Accel circle is like right across from his, and then then you could have a potential chance to nuke his card in front of you. But that's just not optimal. So usually this will always either be on Vanguard or it'll be on one of the 2 natural rear guard circles, not an additional circle. And which is fine because we have a grade 2 that is meant to go on the additional circle. So, but next for grade 2s, we're running 4 Housekeys Rival. So this is the only Housekeys support card that's in this deck. When it's placed, you counterblast 1, soul blast 1, and look at 2 from top, put 1 into the hand, and put 1 in drop zone. So, like classic Great Nature, it adds a card to your hand, because old school Great Nature was known for kind of being sort of like OTT and drawing a lot of cards and stuff like that. But he also has an additional skill of when a card is milled to the drop zone from the top of the deck, he gets 5k power. So that's really nice. It works perfectly with his own other skill, like his on-call skill. So 4 of him. Next, 4 are probably my favorite grade 2 in the deck. 4 Geograph Die. This card puts in so much work. This card is amazing. You got to run 4 copies of it because it's just so good. When he's placed on additional R, so basically when he's placed on your Accel circles, he gets 8k power, and it's like a permanent 8k power. So even on the opponent's turn, he's just sitting there at like 22 or 27 if he's on an Accel 1 circle. So very good card. Or not, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, he's sitting there at 17 on the opponent's turn all the time. So yeah, that's right, because it's only during your turn that he's swinging 27 or he's swinging the 22. So if it's Accel 1 or Accel 2. So still really good card. Probably my favorite grade 2 in here. Just the card puts in so much work. So the next grade 2 I'm running is 4 Observation Scribe. Snockwell. So this guy can restand. when your Vanguard attacks, if a card was basically milled to the drop zone, you can counter +1 and stand him up. So he's usually kind of like, I think of him as like a Tidal Assault or an Algos in Great Nature. So you can swing with him on. He does real well on an additional Accel circle. And the cool thing about this Accel deck in particular is that it's one of the few that going Accel 1 is actually almost like it's preferred, at least when I played the deck, compared to Accel 2. Now, I know everybody loves to go Accel 2 in this Accel format because of the extra draw power, but this card, because you have these guys, this guy especially will be swinging so big every turn that it's just annoying. It annoys the opponent, it makes them drop more cards to block him, and then you can even restand him with Bison, and that's really nice. And then this guy can also restand. This guy will be like 19 on Accel 1 circle. Swing 19, and then he stands up when the Vanguard attacks. So really, really nice with Accel 1. And then for the grade 1s, running 4 of the scale Toucan. Toucan, this guy's really, really good because he has when he has a ability to Soul Blast 1 and return one of your other regards to hand. So why is that good in here? Because it allows things like these cards to reuse their on-call skill. So we run max copies of him to give them more options to replay. And it also allows you to move your cards around. So you can like reform lines. If you know, like if columns were disrupted, you can like reform lines and stuff like that. And then he also has a Vanguard or Rearguard skill. When a card is put in the drop zone from the deck, you get to have him get 5k power. So he has that skill just like the Housekeys guy, which is really, really nice. And he's an 8k body, so there's really nothing bad about this card, so you gotta run the max copies. Next, I'm running 3 Dry Cell Rabbit. So this is the grade 1 that is meant to go on an additional R. So this, along with Geograph Giant, are the ones that usually go in the front row on without boosters. So when a card is milled, basically, like these other guys, if he's on additional R, you can discard a card from the hand and he'll gain 15k power. So like I said, if you're on Accel 1, he's sitting at 17 normally, and then you can have him go up by 15 more. So that's really, really good, swinging at like 32. That's very nice for a grade 1 card. So really, really good. So we run 3 of him. 3 of him because I am running, because the space in the grade 1 lineup is probably the hardest one to figure out. So I'm running 3 Silver Wolf. Silver Wolf is the opposite of Rabbit. So where Rabbit likes to go on the additional circles, Silver Wolf goes in the rear guard, in the back row rear guard circle. So this is your main booster of the deck. So we run 3 of him. Basically, when he's in the back row, he always has plus 4k power, even on the opponent's turn, which is not really going to make too much of a difference, but it's still worth mentioning. So he's 12k. He's a 12k booster, which is very, very nice against Force Clans in particular. So 3 of him and 3 of that guy. And then the last grade 1 I'm running is 3 Housekeys Classmate Pastel Marker Hamna. So this guy, when placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, and he's 8k, whereas this thing was 7k. So he's a better ride target than that guy. So when he's placing Soul Blast 1, put a grade 2 or less from your hand into your soul and draw a card. So he doesn't put grade 3, so that doesn't matter too much because you're not. This deck is not one that cares about having like a grade 3 in the soul to pull off some OP effect. So it doesn't really matter. So 3 of him, just because he helps you cycle cards early when placed. So 3. So I did the 4, 3, 3, 3 for the 13 grade 1 lineup. And it's pretty standard stuff. It's a budget deck. All this stuff is like super dirt cheap and easy to get. So if you want to play Great Nature, this is an easy way to get into it. Next, Cable Sheep. This may be the only card that you have a hard time finding. But at least for me, it was pretty easy to get these. So 4 Cable Sheep. And then I gotta play like the classic criticals. There's a new critical. So it's possible to go 12 critical. But I'm running the old school stuff. So Ruler, Chameleon, Cable Sheep. These are all like classic Great Nature cards. The Triangle Cobra. So I'm running 8 crit, 4 draw, and 4 heal. And the starter is just the Jet Ink Fox. There's also a Paris starter, this is the newer starter actually, but there's an older one, doesn't really matter. So there's 2 different starters for the clan. People are probably wondering, well, how come you don't run fronts, or do you recommend running them? Fronts are not really necessary in this deck, mainly because your rear guards, like this guy for Geograph and the Rabbit, usually, especially if you go Accel 1, now sometimes you will go Accel 2, it just really depends on the matchup, but usually Accel 1 is more common for this particular build, or at least the way I've designed the deck. It really benefits from Accel 1 more than Accel 2. I mean, we already have, there is ample draw power in the deck. We are running the draw essentials, so we do have draw triggers to draw cards. We don't really need to run Accel, or don't really need to worry too much about Accel 2. So, because we can go Accel 1, because these rear guards can be really, really big beaters, you don't really need front. Yes, you could go front, because then people will say, oh, you can make the front line even stronger. Yeah, but you could also just crit kill the opponent early. So, that's why I feel like Great Nature doesn't really need fronts. In fact, you could even just go 12. I'm considering going 12 critical. If you go 12 critical, though, then going Accel 2 becomes more viable or more preferred, because you will not have the draw triggers anymore. Instead, you'll have to fit in the grade 1 PGs somewhere, and that'll probably be at the expense of this guy. So let me know what you guys think in terms of building a budget Great Nature deck. The deck is really, really good. It's very consistent. There aren't a whole lot of weaknesses, and except for maybe decks that like to blow up your field like Narukami, but even then, you can kind of like overpower them because you get bigger numbers. So anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks.